Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deeper Dive Takeover. This is where the media team takes the message from the weekend and we keep the conversation going throughout the week. My name is Pete Carlson, and we are all special guests. I'm joined by Emily Rohde, Lisa Stockmeyer, and Amber Kneeling.
Woohoo!
So, are we ready for this?
Yes.
Born.
Ready?
Born
Okay.
ready.
Here we go. All right. So let's
Just
start.
for this moment right here. I was born for this.
So what happens after this
I
then?
don't know.
Same answer as baptism, maybe.
Okay, so let's start with introductions around the room. Tell us how long have you been coming to Hopevale, and what's your role on the media team? Amber, we'll start with you.
Okay, my name is Amber Rose Kneeling. I have been coming to Hopevale for like 15 years-ish, maybe more. I don't know, something along that. I serve as the design coordinator, which means that I do a lot of the graphic design. I do website design. We all help out with video production and all that. So that's super fun. And I'm usually the one that is behind the curtain here doing the podcast. So this is super fun to be on a microphone. So this day we have Julia. Julia, shout out. Hello. Hey.
Yay.
Julia's doing the post-production on all this today. So.
And it was just her birthday.
And it was her birthday. Happy birthday, Julia. And today is Roman's birthday, just in case anybody cares.
Oh my goodness.
And Roman is
4. And he is my son. Thank you.
I was like, for
Anybody,
anyone who doesn't
whoever
know
wants to know Roman, there is
case
someone
you
named
don't
Roman
know.
out there, and it is his birthday.
Oh my goodness.
This is getting
Okay,
wild.
so to follow that up, I'm Lisa Stockmeyer. I have been going to Hopevale for, I think it's like since 2013 or something. So whatever that equals in years. And I'm the, communications coordinator. Facebook, all the social media channels, organization of that. I don't even know. Videography, photography. I guess that's the big picture stuff.
And other duties as assigned.
Yeah, there we go. It's a good way to wrap that up.
Oh, it's me. All right. I am Emily Rohde. I am the media team assistant, creative arts team assistant, whatever we go by. I deal with design of sets and making things look pretty and making sure that people use proper punctuation and grammar.
That's a big deal.
In content. It is a very big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going to Hopevale for 38 years, so my whole life.
Wow.
And what was the other question? Was that all?
I think that's it.
Okay, the end.
Exclamation point.
Done. Exclamation.
Good job. Okay, so I'm Pete Carlson. I'm one of the pastors here at Hopevale Church. We moved here from New Jersey in 2012, and I started as the adults pastor and then moved into the media team kind of world. So we do everything behind the scenes, right? So a lot of the communications, a lot of the videos that you see, the email bulletin that goes out is a lot of this person over here, and the social media stuff we've got going on, and the website stuff, and the mobile app. And so a lot of different ways that we try and reach our congregation and people in the Great Lakes Bay region with content from Hopevale. So cool. All right. Ready to dive in?
Yes.
Here we go.
Dive in.
Okay.
Don't work for
There's a song.
anymore.
You guys, there's a song for everything.
So we're going to start with music. So Billy had this huge worship set, right? Dan asked to do a little bit more worship, was really cool. So, but one of the things he had talked about in his worship moment was worship being a holy moment. So what I want to ask you guys is, what does a holy moment look like for you? Have you experienced one recently? Or is there like an environment that holy moments become a thing for you? What does that look like? When you hear holy moment, what does that look like in your world?
I think a holy moment, we watched the service online yesterday.
Yeah.
It is very hard to have a holy moment when you're sitting on your couch in a bathrobe drinking coffee. But there's just something different. It hits different when you're in person and you're in the service, which is why we have the auditorium that we do and the lights and all the smoke and that stuff, because it affects you differently. Like you feel God's presence more when you're in that environment. So that for sure is a holy moment, being in person, singing to God. But also I think being in nature is it for me.
Yeah, that's my answer too. And I feel like that's a really stereotypical answer that a lot of people answer.
Yeah.
But it's so true, because you look at, like, there are just so many miracles of God in nature. Just looking at a leaf or looking at a tree or whatever that is for you, you're like, whoa. The intricacy, how it matches up with, like, how it starts from a seed and, you know, it matches up with, like, the human life. It's just, it's mind-blowing. So that was definitely my answer too.
I like that you talked about the environment of worship, because I feel like a lot of people talk about how, like, they don't like the lights or they don't like the haze or whatever that's in there. But I always try and remind myself, and I try and remind the people in my life who have said that, that, like, that's the way that some people get to worship. That's the way that they, you know, like, I love to go and actually sing on stage. I love to do that. Well, there are people who might not have the gift of that. And so they are out there doing lights, or they are, you know, just programming all the behind the scenes stuff. And that's the way that they worship. That's the way they get to serve. So I love that you said that, because people forget that it's not all about the show. It's like, that's someone's way to do that.
Yeah.
And that's might be somebody's holy moment. I don't know. Like mine, I feel like mine is when it's the coolest thing I wish that everyone could experience, but I know that most of you guys at this table probably would throw up if you did, but like being on stage and helping lead worship, there's these moments where, like, when you stop singing on the mic and you just hear the congregation singing back at you, and just to hear everyone's voices collectively as one body of Christ, it's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing. And that's where I get holy moments, is when I'm up there helping lead worship and something like that happens. That's really cool. But I feel like also I get these holy moments when I'm, like, sitting on the couch and my kid actually wants to come and cuddle with me, and I'm just like warm and cozy in my house, cuddling.
Or with your dog.
Or with your dog.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So, right, all those things. I don't know if this is weird or not, or if this is silly or not, but when I bike into work, there's this stretch that I go through cornfields and stuff like that. And usually in that cornfield, a lot of times I'll see a hawk. So when I see the hawk fly over and I'm cruising on my bike and I'm watching that hawk, I feel like God's saying, like,
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So
It sounds just like that.
Hey.
It does. It's like a little shout out, like, hey, I'm here. I'm with you. You know, everything's going to be okay,
cool.
whatever's going on.
I feel
but
that.
the flip side is when I don't see a hawk when I'm biking, I'm like, oh, am I in trouble?
God,
where are you?
Nothing biblical about what I just said at all whatsoever. So, but it's one of the things that goes through my mind sometimes. So.
That's cool.
Okay.
Or if you see the hawk holding its
a mouse
breakfast or something.
No, that's super cool. That means bonus. Something really exciting.
Oh, okay.
For all you hunters out there. Okay, all right. So next question. Dan opened with this question saying, do you think some of us have more to be thankful for than the rest of us? What did you think when you heard that originally? So obviously you know the whole sermon, you heard the end where he went with it. But when you first heard that statement or that question, where did you go? What did you think about?
Initially, I think, yes, that's like my first thought.
Same.
I mean, there are people who have more. There are people who have less. People are hurting maybe this season, you know, for sure. I think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's perspective. I think I thought about that. Like, what is a blessing to something to be grateful for is so different for people. So it's hard to say who gets bigger blessings than others and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I mean, you kind of mentioned this before the podcast, but my mind went straight to comparison. Like, that's just, and Dan talked about that, you know, that's just what we naturally do. We look at, like, your car's better than mine, or this and this, but does it matter sometimes? Like, I got to work just fine. Like, you know, it was, but that's all about perspective too. And I remember the very thing that came to my mind was when my husband and I were trying to get pregnant for the first time, I would see people getting pregnant so easily. And it took us years. And granted, I have not experienced loss, so I'm in no way like comparing myself, but it took a long time and I was so jealous for so long. Like, why do other people just get pregnant so easily? And, you know, now I'm so grateful we're about to have our third, like,
Woohoo!
Wow, God.
Yeah.
But man, you know, just that time frame, you're like, what's happening?
It's easy.
What am I doing wrong? You know?
Right.
So, and yeah, and like you get mad at people when they're in their most happy time, like they're going to have a baby and you can't help it though. That's your human nature to just be like, God, what is happening? So I don't know. It's so silly, but that's the human side of us that we look at what we don't have, what we wish we had. And at the time I had so much to be thankful for, so much.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong in my life. You know, I had a job and things but that's all you can think about is the negative stuff. So it's tough.
I think the comparison game for me is more looking at people who get stuff but don't deserve to get that stuff. And it's not that I want the stuff that they have, but you're like, well, they don't deserve that. They haven't been a good person. But like Brent said this like months ago in one of his services, none of us are good. If God is good, none of us are good. So we all are kind of in the same playing field where none of us deserve the good stuff, but by the grace of God, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's humbling stuff. I mean, I had the privilege of going to Africa twice this year. So once to Egypt and then once to Zimbabwe. And seeing that culture and experiencing, you know, it's the comparison game, right? The haves versus the have-nots. And you don't really realize the stuff you take for granted until you go and experience something like that in that side of the world. So like for Egypt, we actually met and talked with people there to try and engage in the culture. So not all the tourism stuff all the time. I mean, we did some tourism, but we had conversations with some of the people on the ground, right? And they were limited in what they could say because they were worried somebody else would hear and they could get imprisoned or in trouble. But what really stuck out is one guy had said that he feels like he's trapped in his own country, like he's imprisoned in his own country, because where his mind and the things he wants to do, he kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit, you know. Can't start businesses there. There's corruption going on. There's all of these things stacked against them. And life is kind of the same. And his concern is that kids growing up in that environment, that they have no hope, they've got no future goals, and they just accept kind of the misery that they're in. And this is just how it's going to be. And that's how the government kind of keeps them, you know, oppressed in that environment. Zimbabwe, totally different experience. There's a little bit more freedoms there, but much more poverty there. And this guy, Arthur, that I met with there, he leads the Life to Life Africa. And he said something really, it was kind of eye-opening to me, but he thanked me for coming because it was challenging him to get out of his comfort zone. So he's like, you're an American leaving all of this, coming here and not staying at a nice fancy hotel, but living with us. And that's obviously taking you out of your comfort zone. And he's talking about moving out of his comfort zone. And I'm like, what does that look like? You know, like how much more uncomfortable can you get? But that was the driving force that led them to go do Bible studies in a landfill. So there's a whole community there that exists in a landfill. And we went out and visited those people and brought them like clothing and all that kind of stuff. But you got to see people literally doing a Bible study in a landfill. It was mind blowing.
the pictures of that really put it in perspective for me too.
Yeah. Yep.
I know being there was probably way more impactful, but
Yeah.
just seeing it, you're like, okay, I have nothing to complain about.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but that's a lot of the comparison game, I guess, right? So it's hard to kind of get out of that. You don't want to take things for granted, and I think it helps put things in perspective, but it can be a challenge sometimes. I saw, I forgot who sent this out, but somebody sent out this kind of infographic where you've got a guy who's like in one car and he's looking at the Ferrari next to him and he's like, oh, I wish I had that, right? And then the guy in the car next to him, there's a guy on a bike who's looking at the car and saying, I wish I had that. Then you see a guy who's upstairs, who's walking, right? And he's looking at a bike and wishing he had a bike. And then you see the guy walking and some dude's in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm wishing I could walk. It's just, it really doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody who has more. And Brent's right. None of us deserve it. But yeah.
Even when you were talking, like, I was thinking, would you rather be in a culture where you're okay, you get by, but you're scared every day to talk
Yeah.
or to worship freely, let's say,
Yeah.
or be super poor, but you're free to worship
Yeah.
and do a Bible study and do this kind of stuff? Like, what's the better way to be?
Yeah.
Starving, but you at least get the word, or like you're okay, but you're just,
Yeah.
you know, you can't talk, you can't say anything, you can't express any sort of that, like, that's starving almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Good stuff.
Amber,
All right.
Amber's gotta go.
What?
Did you go?
I kind of said at first,
Oh, you
but I
did,
just
okay.
like my initial reaction was just yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that's right, you did. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that people, but then once you did start talking about comparison, it's like, oh yeah, that is all comparison. Like it's all based, like you just said, Lisa, like off of the perspective, like, you know, because even I try and go through life too, where I'm just like, this isn't mine. This stuff isn't mine. This house
Right.
isn't mine. The money's not mine.
Yeah.
My kids aren't even mine, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm just here to steward this stuff the best that I can. And every time I pray, especially like with my family, I always say like, I try to just think for the blessings like that I have right now. And someone, I don't remember where I heard it, and I'm not even going to get this right, but someone was just said, if you can start every day or whatever with thankfulness, like it will completely change your day. You know, like if you start your prayers instead of saying, I want, like, thank you, Lord, for this. Thank you for this. And it just changes your whole perspective of everything. Like it's not our stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I read this in a book too, and I can't think of where it was, but someone put in perspective, you have 2 feet. So if you said thank you as you step out of bed, like that's the very best thing you could do for yourself or
Yeah.
the world. I don't know.
Yeah. And then you realize how much you do have. And
Yeah, yeah.
even if it's not a lot,
Yeah.
it's more than some people.
Yeah. One of the pastors in Haiti, he would say every morning he wakes up, the first thing is just start a conversation with God and thanking him for another day. So, and that's in a place where they're like getting 1 meal a day, you know?
And it's even when you're not having the best time. This is so first world problems. I feel bad even saying this now that we're talking about like,
Oh, here we go.
no, but even just like working out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't like it sometimes.
Yep.
I mean, I feel good after I do it, but while I'm in it, I don't love it. But when I'm like out there running and I'm not enjoying it, I literally tell myself like, or I tell God, thank you for giving me the ability to
Yeah.
walk and run, because there are people out there who would kill for this. Like
Yeah.
they would love to be able to do this. And so it is. It's just about perspective change. And then it changes the way that
Yeah.
I work out. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I should enjoy being able to run when someone else would love to do this.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good. I've heard it said, whatever dog you feed the most wins,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you feed the white dog positive thoughts, good energy, good exercise, good food. I'm looking in the mirror right now. All of that stuff, you know, you're going to
Yeah.
get results. You feed the black dog constant negativity, too much media, too much politics, too much just whatever, or even the people you surround yourself with, right? If they're constantly complaining or whatever, you find yourself starting to complain like out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Craig Groeschel says you can't have a positive life with a negative mind.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
For sure.
All right. So along those lines, Do you have any Thanksgiving traditions that you love or are totally bothered by? And then what is one thing you're thankful for this year?
I want to know who has an annoying tradition. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Is doing something
Same
over
thing.
and over.
But sometimes you don't have
Oh,
control.
yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lisa, go first.
No,
Dish.
no. No, Thanksgiving is super duper. And I was just saying that I really enjoy the next day when it's quiet.
Yeah.
And you go home with all your leftovers and you make like a turkey sandwich out of the turkey, right?
Yeah.
That's so, and it's just quiet and it's good. And
Yeah.
Lisa, so many people can relate to you right now. I
yeah.
am so sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in that world of visiting multiple families and multiple homes and trying to make
Yeah.
everybody happy and check all the boxes, and you've got little ones and you're trying, it's just it's
chaotic.
chaos. Yes, and then added to which endeavor if you have a turkey coma,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
And like who's annoyed with who. And
Yeah.
I love chaos, but in my house.
Yeah.
And I don't mean bad chaos, like good chaos. Like
Sure.
kids running around and screaming and the food everywhere, and that is my element, but I love it when it's like in my box. So anyways, it's fine. But
Yeah.
besides that, I'd say I'm thankful for my kids, my family, everything, my job, my all the things
Yeah.
we normally say, but that's
Yeah,
true. Well, and like I just briefly touched on, it took us a while to have kids. We have them now. It's great.
Yeah.
But that was honestly all I ever dreamed of as a human. I just wanted to be a mom, and that was it. And so I'm like, I don't know, is this a good perspective? Probably not. But, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever be fulfilled if I don't have the one thing I think I want. And obviously, the only thing that could fill us is Jesus. And I know that. But, it was a long time coming to have the family that I pictured in my head. And so now that I have it, I'm so grateful for it. And I'll be honest, I thank God for it every day because I'm like, I just you work so hard.
I really quick have to go back to a memory of sitting in Pete's car, and we were traveling to the Bay City baptism at the state park, and Lisa's like, I just need a moment. I just need a moment to complain. I am just so sick of people posting their pregnancy announcements, and I've been trying to get pregnant for so long. And then the next day, she's like, hey guys, I'm pregnant.
I was pregnant the whole time.
It was really funny.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really funny. She was just going off.
And it was like kind of beautiful because it was the Bay City baptism, mid-COVID, the world is ending. I don't know, whatever we were thinking at the time, but it was so magical because we were like, we're just doing baptisms. Nothing is going to stop Jesus. And we did it, and it was amazing and beautiful. And this whole time, we had that little lull where we were sitting on the beach, and I was just basically talking to God the whole time. That was the only thing that was on my mind. And I was just like, I just want to be pregnant so bad. Granted, we already had Julie, but we were trying to get pregnant with Ray. And it was just God's joke because he's like, you are Lisa. Like, where was my hawk?
really.
Maybe that was all the seagulls.
You gotta look up.
Seagull.
Or those awful flies at the
Oh
end
my
of the
goodness.
night.
yeah.
Or the frogs that came out at the end too. Oh, but it was a beautiful baptism.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
This is the stuff that happens afterwards that people don't get to see, that we are there before everybody, cleaning up afterwards,
Yep.
and all the frogs came out. And it was so gross and scary.
Like a plague.
It was weird.
Super special.
Oh my goodness.
Paul's video shoot, that was a plague.
Oh yeah.
We did that.
I got eaten alive at that
That
one.
was bad. All right, good.
Tradition?
Yeah, okay. So I on the flip side love Thanksgiving. This is my favorite time of year. I thrive on family time.
Yeah.
Like Nick and I don't have very many traditions, just our family, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, cuz our traditions are going to see our family. Like, we love it. Love it for Thanksgiving, love it for Christmas. And this year, I just really quick have to say, this year, you guys, this week is like my favorite week ever in my entire life, because
You're doing the Deeper Dive podcast.
because I'm doing the Deeper Dive podcast, which is, again, what I was born for, this day right here. No, but I also love birthdays. like crazy, love celebrating because, hey, you made it another year. That's something to celebrate.
Well,
That's a
you're
great
one of the
thing.
few people that have a month.
I know.
Right? So,
a
yeah.
month,
Yeah.
yes. So anyway, Roman, my son, his birthday is today. I've got 2 Thanksgivings this week, and Nick's birthday, my husband, is on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, all in 1 week, which is absolutely nuts because I'm making a million things this week.
Is he listening to this? Will he be listening
He
to
probably
this
will.
podcast? So
Happy
you can't
birthday,
tell us
babe.
what you got him
No,
for.
I can't.
Oh, dang.
I can't. Well, I did do the Dave and Buster's thing. We just did that last weekend.
Nice.
So we went to Dave and Buster's. He's a
Nice.
weird, awesome arcade
You're not
fan.
weird, man. You're totally normal.
No, I love it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a kid at heart.
Yeah.
So
That's why they made Dave and Buster's.
Exactly. And we
It's
walked
for
in.
adults.
We walked in and he was just like, "Oh my goodness. There was so much. That place is awesome."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is
Yeah.
awesome. But anyway, back to Thanksgiving.
And this deeper dive is sponsored by Dave and Buster's.
It's really fun. Their food's really good too.
For the
but-
weird kid and everyone.
and everyone's got it. But yeah, so our tradition is just going
Yeah, yeah.
to each family. And by the way, I miss being a kid when I didn't have to participate and bring a dish to pass because it just makes things a little more hectic this week, having to
Yeah.
make things and cook things and contribute. But I also love it. So yeah, does that?
Yeah. So
And-
one thing you're thankful for this year, other than all that, that's your tradition answer.
Well, I think this year's just a little more sweet for 2 reasons. Number one, like after I had Grayson, I had the whole postpartum depression thing, and
Yeah.
it just feels good to feel good, you know? So I'm embracing that right now. Volleyball.
Yep.
Love volleyball.
Yep.
It's so great to play when you're not pregnant, by the way, too, because I could fly everywhere. But anyway, no, one of the reasons though, last holiday, when my brother Brent and Dana, they lost their baby. So last holiday was a little sour. So this holiday, we're just all really soaking up family. And they've got Micah Joy now. So it's like, okay, we're coming into this holiday in a good mood. So it's exciting. And we're just all really excited to be together and let cousins run around and let the chaos begin.
Nice.
I thrive off of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
You?
You go first.
I'm going up. Okay.
Yeah.
So traditions. Well, I know growing up, the family used to get together and do the big family thing at Grandma and Grandpa Carlson's. We were in Chicago. They lived in Michigan, and everybody kind of came and did their thing there. So this is back in the day before like TiVo and being able to pause your TV and whatever. So well, yeah, that's not even a thing anymore, right? So YouTube TV, sorry, like whatever you're doing
What's
to.
a TiVo?
So this isn't a great memory, but it's still a memory. Like when football's a big thing, right, on Thanksgiving. So and my grandpa was big into football, but whenever we as grandkids would get in the way of the TV, he would let us know, because you couldn't stop, like you're missing action, I guess, or whatever. So that was a little bit of drama. But then we would all do like a card game or a board game or something at night and a ton of laughter. So I
Yes.
remember that. That was really cool.
That's fun.
So now it's all about ordering Bob Evans because nobody in our household likes to cook, including myself. So that's like heat up and we're ready to rock and roll. And
Is it good?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Yep. I don't think we ever eat at Bob Evans except for Thanksgiving.
So what do you get? Turkey?
And you don't even eat at Bob Evans, right?
No.
You
Yeah, we pick it up.
bring it home.
So turkey, I'm a big turkey fan, but I'm the only one in my household that likes turkey. Gene and Josh, they like the ham. So they get the ham. So we do the split, kind of thing.
Okay.
So, and Thanksgiving in the Carlson home is, so eating, watching football, and then passing out.
Nice.
Love that. So it's kind of like the day of, we get your day after,
Yeah.
So you
pretty
get a
calm.
ham and a turkey?
Not a full big one,
Okay.
but like a
Like a little platter.
Yeah, like a partial one, kind of. So,
Wow.
and then leftovers are the best.
They really are.
Yes.
They really are.
Something about turkey and making a sandwich out
I
of it.
know.
Oh, so
Man,
good.
I love all of it. All of
so-
it left over.
Yeah.
I'm getting hungry now.
I'm so excited for food this week.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
So, all right, and then thankful, I keep going back to you talked about before, like deserving. I don't feel I deserve a lot of where I'm at in life right now. So, but I'm thankful that I'm in the place that I'm at, that I do what I do, that it's with all of you. Like, I could not imagine God showing up the way he's shown up, even over the past few years. So, like, one story, some people know this, but maybe a lot of listeners don't. Like, when COVID happened, we were a team for like maybe 3 months, I think. We had just started the media team.
I wasn't even on it yet.
Yeah, you were still doing the welcome ministry
Yeah.
stuff. So, but when that happened and we had to go, everybody had to isolate and whatever, we had everything we needed to do ministry. We had Mevo cameras. We had everything. We didn't really have to scramble for anything. And I think for even the first few months, I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this really where God wants me? Am I making a mistake? Do I really have the skill set? Like, all the doubts and stuff that kind of like creep in, and like, you're not good enough. There's always somebody out there that's better at what you do. You didn't do this for, I didn't get a degree in media, kind of thing. So, but a lot of that went away that year because we became so important to everything. And God just, he knew ahead of time. It just blows my mind that we were able to do everything we did. So, and out of that comes our team, out of that comes a mobile app, out of that comes our live stream, and it's still widely used. So, that's pretty incredible to me. So, and we have a lot of fun. I love it. I think it's pretty cool.
That was a crazy season, though.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
That was crazy.
Yep.
I just remember, I have this weird memory of Pete calling. He's like, I'm on my way to Dan's house to set up a camera so he can do the service or whatever. I'm like, you can't go there. They're going to yell at you. I don't know who they are. He's like, well, got to do church.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, we had the tools. Because I remember leading up, before anything was closed down, we were like doing videos every day. Like, this is the new thing. This is the next thing. This is the next thing. And it was fast and furious, as Pete says. And and then it was just like, wow, we can do everything remote.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Dang.
Welcome Ministries went away, and then that's how I got to be on this team.
Yep. Yep.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
Love
It
you
was
more.
really good.
But Emily, what's your tradition?
Oh, goodness. So when I was a kid, my sisters and I had a tradition. I'm the youngest of 3 girls. That after dinner, we would get the giggles really bad, which still happens when we get together.
I can't imagine that.
And they would, I don't know how it worked, but I think they put a footy pajama on me backwards and would stuff it as full as they could, like a turkey, and then watch me walk around, fall over, and then struggle to get up off the floor. And
That's
that was
hilarious.
that was our after dinner Thanksgiving thing to do.
So you still do that?
No.
Okay.
I'm
like,
start
where's
doing
the
that with my
tradition right
daughter.
now?
So that was then. This is now. My sisters, they don't live around here anymore, so I don't see them for Thanksgiving. But
if they did, they would do it more, right?
But yeah, we would for sure find a way to make it happen. So we go to my in-laws for dinner, and then my mom comes too. And then afterwards, I can't sit still for too long. So I get home, and that's my time to decorate for Christmas. And I turn on the same movie every year, which is While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock. And I listen/watch it while I decorate. And it's like just a fury of me running from room to room and my family staying out of my way because they don't want to get yelled at. No, I'm kidding. I don't yell at them, but it's definitely a solo sport.
Yeah.
Christmas decorating.
Yeah.
And then we'll usually chill out and maybe watch another movie and relax. And it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also, I take the turkey carcass every year from my mother-in-law and I make soup out of it. So I carry it home in a clean trash bag like a barbarian. And then I boil it down the next day and then I pick it dry like a cave woman and I make soup.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm all about that.
It's great.
Go for some
Barbarian.
soup.
As long as it's not those like savage Febreze bags.
Oh,
No.
gross.
People out
Unscented.
there,
Gross.
if you ever buy those,
Yeah, I made the mistake of
Get
doing
outta
that
here.
once, and
Oh.
Jean was not happy. So
No.
those
It's-
ended up in the trash.
It's like a good concept, but
Yeah.
it's not good because
It's-
it doesn't work with the smell of trash.
Yeah.
It just then makes it not great.
Weird.
smell
Anyway.
triple as bad,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Instant
But it was a
headache.
good concept.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Okay, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh, man, what am I not thankful for is the question. I have a lot to be thankful for. Health, people in my life, my jobs.
Yeah,
I love it all. Like,
nice.
yeah, very grateful.
Good. All right, so parting shots of wisdom. This is our wrap up.
Wait, really quick, we should tell people,
Yeah.
hey, listeners and viewers, that you should put in the comments
Yes. Yeah.
what your
if-
traditions are.
Right. If you're watching this on YouTube, put some stuff in the comments below. We'd love to see that. I don't think we've ever done that.
I don't think so either.
And if you haven't subscribed, maybe subscribe.
Do that.
That'd be cool.
Maybe.
Or don't.
Maybe think about it.
Yeah, it's good. All right. So, as always, we want to thank you for joining us for this deeper dive takeover. Until next week, we hope to see you again. Or who knows when we'll take it over again. Stay tuned.
Nobody knows. We're really good at this.
We'll see. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for watching the Deeper Dive video podcast. To check out our full library, make sure to subscribe by clicking the button below. Also, make sure to select the bell icon in order to be notified of any new content as it is posted. If you would like to give to the Lord here at Hopevale and support the ministry, you can give by visiting hopevale.org/give. Thank you again for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you and your family at Hopevale Church.